Ladies and gentlemen, members and friends, as Matt Bailey would say, my name is Ioannidis. I'm the marketing assistant for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society Australia and the editor of Unfiltered magazine. And I'm joined today by Hamish Goonetilleke and Kealán Brady, the venue owner and bar manager for one of our latest partner bars in Melbourne, Beneath Driver Lane. We're here to just have a chat, see what the bar is all about, what members can get out of it, and just have some good whiskey. So, Hamish, Beneath Driver Lane, had to sum it up in a couple of sentences. How would you sum it up?
Well, we are a underground whiskey, blues and cocktail bar. Unashamedly, we're down a laneway. You go down this set of stairs, the door opens up, and you're greeted by about 100 candles, So for me, it was always about an authentic experience here. And I looked at all of these pictures from like New Orleans back in the day, and it was always like a room with all small tables everywhere and a bit of a hubbub of activities. So we tried to replicate that here. And I feel like we've done the right job.
Yeah, beautiful. So you had a pretty decent idea of what the bar was going to be before you opened up?
Well, not really. I've actually never, all of my bars, I've never actually come up with an idea before finding the space.
Okay.
Because I think there has to be some sort of organicness about the business feeling right in the space. So I remember sitting here and going, shit, what does Melbourne need, or what does the city need? And there was actually two concepts. So the first one was, a blues whiskey bar, but the other concept, and it was going to be called Gunslinger's Basement, and we were going to be more like a rockabilly American whiskey style bar as well. Yeah. But again, like basement sort of feels. So, but super happy with the concept, and I think it feels really whole here.
Yeah, beautiful. And just you own a very rum-centric bar. Why the change to live blues and bigger emphasis on whiskey?
It just, as I said, it felt right. Rum Diary was created because I just come back from a trip from the Caribbean, and I sat there and I was like, what does northern suburbs of Melbourne need? What does Fitzroy need? And that's where Rum Diary Bar was designed as a dive rum bar. I thought it was the right time for rum. Whereas this space, it felt whiskey to me, and it felt deep and this rocky sort of blues. I think blues had been sort of had a bit of a funny stigma across a number of years. It was a bit daggy. There was some, venues which were just doing it just for like blues nights. And I was like, well, I think having a wholesome venue just focused around that was a really good idea.
Yeah, great. And you guys do live blues Thursday to Saturday?
We do. We've actually just extended our live music offering. So it used to be Friday and Saturdays. Now we're doing Thursday, Friday and Saturday. And Fridays and Saturdays we also have support acts as well. So we've got live music from 8 p.m, both Fridays and Saturdays, and 9 p.m. on the Thursday.
Blues bar, whiskey bar, gig venue.
100%.
So what are your backgrounds, Kealán? Yeah, how long have you been with the bar?
I've been here just under 2 years. I'm from Northern Ireland originally. I've spent most of my career there. My family all grew up in hospitality, so it's kind of was natural to slot in. Most of my background's actually from gin and tequila based bars. So I worked in a large gin cocktail bar back at home. Worked there for a few years. Moved to Newcastle in England. It was the same sort of style. It was heavy cocktails, heavy gin, in the middle of the gin craze. Whiskey actually would have been my third choice of spirit before I started working here. And now I just really, really appreciate the craftsmanship and how different whiskey can be from, just everyone uses the same simple ingredients really. And just that broad spectrum that I can cover. I really fell in love with whiskey from working here.
Okay. Did you find it hard to sort of get into whiskey from
not really, to be honest. I did already have an appreciation. I think kind of my palate matured a bit more, where I was into sweeter spirits. So it would have been tequila then rum. And then just going through the back bar that we have here, I think the thing that really kicked it off for me was we did a Bushmills training back at home, being from Northern Ireland, very accessible for us. Still a massive fan of Bushmills, I do a little bit, but the 16-year-old like really made me sit up and start to appreciate how different whiskey can be. And once I got here, like the learning curve was smooth and it was enjoyable, and it was a very easy transition, really.
Beautiful. Yeah, Hamish, your background, hospitality, business.
Yeah, I originally was doing advertising and marketing, so I did business at uni, and then I had a media company in the late about 2007, and I said to my partner at the time, I was like, "Oh, look, this business is not really for me. I'd like to get back into hospitality." So we bought a share in a bar, and that was it. My first bar was actually in Commercial Road in Paran.
Okay.
And I think it's called Carpe Diem now, Carpe Diem Lounge Club,
Yep.
CDLC. And back when I had it was called Marmalade.
Sweeter name. Beautiful. So, what would you say is Beneath Travelane's specialty? What sets you apart from other bars?
It's experience. You know, it's a very emotional space. It's a large space, but it's also very intimate at the same time. And I think there's a real unraveling of the space when you come into it. As I said before, you're walking down the stairs, you sort of get to this entry area, and then you see some of the bar, and you walk to here, and the staff say hello, and then you opened up into this room. It really unravels itself, and I think that's really emotional and really special.
Beautiful. And you've recently joined Scotchman Whisky Society as our latest partner bar. What about the society appealed to you? Why do you think this partnership works?
Oh, well, look, the drams that are coming out of Scotchman Whisky Society are some of the most unique and interesting going around. I think, by focusing on single barrels, you really do get a lot of variations and exceptionally interesting drams. And we're a bar that people like to sit down at and talk to our bartenders and ask questions. And if someone's going in a certain truck, these are a great product to be able to put forward to them. So we're really honoured to be one of the very few partner bars in Melbourne, and looking forward to the relationship.
Yes, it's what I like the most about them actually is how you're getting the spirit from certain distilleries, and you're able to taste it in ways that you don't necessarily get from their brand name products. I don't want to name any, to be fair, but it's like having some casks that they're always going to release in sherry casks, and you get them here and they're something completely different, and you can find different characters and different flavors in those that you won't normally get, and it's just that point of difference is just really interesting and really piques like a lot of people's interest in it, and it's like what draws me to the brand the most.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much, guys. Beneath Travelane is open from Tuesday to Sunday. Is that Tuesday, Thursday, 5 p.m.
Correct.
Till 1 a.m. And then Friday, Saturday, 5 p.m. till 2:30 a.m.
4 p.m. actually.
4 p.m.
Or till late.
Yeah.
And then Sunday you're open now as well.
We are from 6. But I think we'll probably be bringing that back to 5 shortly. 'Cause it's been it was a bit of a testing of the water. But I guess we would like to offer to the Scotch Malt Whisky Society members. We have our own membership, which is called a Basement Barrel Society members. But with this partnership, we'd also like to offer a discount to Basement Barrel Society members as well. So if you show your card, you'll be getting a 10% discount off the back bar. And so you can, of course, try the drams. And of course, we do have a very healthy selection of Scotch Malt Whisky Society as well. But we'd like to welcome you as part of the family and extend that to you.
Absolutely. And all Scotch Malt Whisky Society members will receive 10% off the entire back bar Beneath Travelane if they just show their membership. So, Hamish, Kealán, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Adam?
3 Driver Lane, Melbourne, Victoria, just off Little Burke Street. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.